Webster Tarpley, doctor of history, also has a degree in economics, author, researcher. In the film, The Obama Deception, shot almost 2 years ago, released a year and a half ago, he covered all of this. How the money was going to select corporations for unfair trade advantage. How it was going to offshore banks. He listed the banks. He knew then. And now here we are a year and a half later. It's all been documented. He's with us for the next hour, well into the next hour. And we're going to get into WikiLeaks first and his geopolitical breakdown of this. Then we're going to get into what's happening with the banks and the unfolding global depression and how it's being engineered and Tarpley's ideas for solutions to counter it. Webster, good to have you here with us.
Thank you, Alex. Glad to be with you.
Okay, you've got the floor. Launch into Assange, a little bit on his background, but mainly how you were able a year ago and then again 6 months ago to talk about what he was going to do next, the Soros connection, that's key. And then from there, you predicted, along with Wayne Madsen and others, that he would then start targeting rival banks and that they would be targets and enemies of Soros. That has now been announced. So the question is, Tarpley, living there in Maryland by D.C., are these sources you have, or how does your crystal ball stare this deep into the future? You have the floor.
Alex, the way you can recognize these things is the historical continuum or the continuity. What we're seeing is a classic limited hangout by the U.S. intelligence community, let's say by the CIA for short, but it's just other, NSA.
Rogue elements within it.
CIA, right, the rogue network. And this is how they operate. And when we go back to the Pentagon Papers of 1971, that's a classic example with Daniel Ellsberg of the Rand Corporation. And that one, I would stress, was prepared by Leslie Gelb of the Council on Foreign Relations later on, and by Morton Halperin, who today is the managing guru, I guess, of the entire Soros political operation. So there's an important element of personal continuity. And, of course, in those days, the idea was that the Pentagon Papers were going to whitewash the CIA. They were going to shift the guilt to the U.S. Army and to certain generals.
So when they know they're losing wars that they on record engineered, and that's exactly what Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Schaefer has said, that basically this is all being used to dump on the Army. Just blame them.
Yes. And in those days it was to save the CIA's reputation and also to portray Kennedy as a villain, and also, of course, to cover up many aspects of the Kennedy assassination. It's a good, when you think about it, a document dump in 1971 should have had something really important about the Kennedy assassination. It did not. Later on, Watergate, which grows out of the Pentagon Papers pretty directly, with intelligence agents like Woodward and Bernstein running around. This is also the same kind of thing, to shift the popular rage against Nixon when it might well have gone against the CIA for such things as their notorious drug smuggling, drug running, gun running policies, and their role in setting up these losing wars.